It's Maestro Mundo. Welcome, Maestro. Nice to see you.
Good morning, Jim, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Excited to have the courage to stand at Heinz Hall. The Pittsburgh Symphony exploring the power of expressing our deepest selves, thinking about who we really are. Beethoven's Fifth will be on the program.
Oh, yes, we'll be starting the concert with Beethoven's Fifth Symphony because Beethoven was the composer who really showcased who he really was.
And you have Aaron Copland, Jessie Montgomery, Valerie Coleman, her Umoja, a world premiere from Peter Boyer, and a guest from the Pittsburgh Ballet Theater. Tell me about Courage to Stand. How did it begin?
So, Jim, as a musician and conductor and as a human being, I believe that we, and I, have the responsibility to reflect what is happening in the world. Right? There's so much unrest going on, violence, and I thought, what could we do with music to help listeners, audiences, and communities? And I thought, we could look at composers who've made a stand for their convictions, either musically, religiously, politically, etc. And so we have 10 different composers, 3 of them living American composers, with 5 soloists from the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra, and 3 guest collaborators. Nikki Porter, who's our Lift Every Voice singer and wonderful choral director, the poet Charles E. Timbers, as well as Pittsburgh Ballet Theater's Yoshiaki Nakano. And Yoshi will be dancing to Elegy, written by Peter Boyer, which will be the world premiere of the piece.
Very exciting. So many different aspects to this concert. It's unusual, too, that you're going to do it for young people in the morning with 2 performances, but next Wednesday in the evening at 7 p.m. at Heinz Hall, everyone can come. It's a very reasonably priced ticket.
And that is correct. Next Wednesday, January 17th at 7 p.m. The tickets are actually pay as you wish. So I invite everyone who is listening right now to come.
How did you meet the dancer from Pittsburgh Ballet Theater, Yoshiaki?
So I'm always looking for artists based in Pittsburgh. I'm looking for collaborators here in the region. And I went to many of their performances, and then I saw Yoshi's choreography as well as his dancing. So I had him in the back of my mind, and I got a chance to meet him last year, and I asked him, Yoshi, I have this project in mind. Would you like to collaborate with the Pittsburgh Symphony? And he said yes.
What will he be dancing to?
He'll be dancing to Peter Boyer's Elegy, which will be a piece that we'll be using to dedicate to all of those who have made a stand in one way or form to make the world a better place.
Pittsburgh Symphony has a special connection to Peter, too. He's done some music for young people's programs and been to Pittsburgh to work directly with the orchestra. He came out to QED on a couple of occasions.
Oh, yes. And yes, I believe his an excerpt from his Ellis Island was performed several years ago with my predecessor, Andres.
How did Langston Hughes get on the program?
Well, his poem, I Dream or World, I've always enjoyed and loved this poem so much. And it has this hopeful message. I'm sure it will move hearts and minds. And so we've added the poem in conjunction to Margaret Bonds, because I believe Margaret Bonds and Langston Hughes were close friends and collaborators during their careers.
And she's had, I don't know that everybody knows Margaret, but she's had some interesting music out there. Her Troubled Waters turns up from time to time.
Oh, yes, Troubled Waters is one of the most famous, more famous pieces. But what we are performing for you will be Nikki Porter singing Hold On.
And Nikki has a great constituency here in Pittsburgh. She has a wonderful stage presence. She did a terrific interview with us for our podcast series, Voice of the Arts, and her personality shines even on the radio. You can't see her, but she just lights up a room.
Oh, absolutely. Nikki is a gem.
About Florence Price. 25 years ago, nobody knew Florence Price. Now, I'm sorry that her her physical presence is no longer with us, to see her star rising. It's amazing. About Florence Price.
Oh, yes. Florence Price broke many barriers in her time. One of the first African-American composers, women composers, whose piece was performed by a major American orchestra. And as you well know, I believe the Philadelphia Orchestra won a Grammy for recording her symphonies.
You work with us on our Pittsburgh Symphony radio broadcast, do you not? Thanks for helping out with the preparation of our concerts.
Absolutely. It's a joy, Jim.
I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening when we broadcast live at 8 o'clock with Peter Popelka. And you mentioned that you know Peter.
Yes, I met Peter when he was transitioning into the conducting career. He was a contrabass player with the Dresdner Staatskapelle when I first met him. And we got along really well back when we met in Budapest several years ago. And he came to visit me in Germany, in Düsseldorf. Yeah, and we've tried to keep in touch ever since. But his career has just been on the rise in the last two years. And very happy for him in Vienna as well as in Prague.
Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, but there are performances Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend.
That is correct.
You can watch for Maestro Doe. He's there. Do you have an official role with this concert? Are you the cover conductor this weekend?
Well, this weekend I am not cover conducting, but I am giving a backstage tour for our daughters Friday and Sunday, so I will be at Heinz Hall.
We'll watch for you for sure. And I'm so glad that you came in to be with us live this morning. Courage to Stand. Let's begin at the beginning. What is it about? What are you doing? Why are you doing it?
We are doing this because we want to reflect what is happening in the world and give the Pittsburgh community a moment to reflect on, and perhaps to also give them hope through music, through composers who have endured a lot. And I'd like to highlight two composers, Arvo Pärt, the Estonian-born composer who was religiously persecuted in Soviet Union as well as politically being persecuted in Nazi Germany. And our wonderful acting principal violist, Tatiana, will be the soloist for this piece called Fratr for viola, strings, and percussion. And yesterday during our tempo meeting, she gave me a wonderful phrase for this piece, the glorification of resonance. And you'll get to hear amazing resonances in this piece by Arvo Pärt. And the second piece I'd like to highlight is a piece by Jesse Montgomery called Banner. You see, Jim, I'm an American on paper. I have Korean roots. And in this piece, Banner, Jesse Montgomery asks many questions. What does it mean to be American and whatnot? And at one instance, she includes many different pieces, Star Spangled Banner, Mexico, and you name it. And many instruments are playing these different tunes at the same time. And 4 PSO musicians will be featured as soloists. It's a piece for quartet and orchestra.
You'll have Marta Kreczkowski, Dennis O'Boyle, Sean Jewell, and Bronwyn Banner, a great group of musicians. Now, is it possible to meet any of these musicians? Can I meet you at this concert afterwards if I hang around the stage door or say to the usher, I want to meet Maestro Doe? Is it ever possible?
Well, I'll be hanging out after the concert, and I'll definitely be around at the stage door. So if you want to
please
chat with me, I'm always open to connect with people.
The high will be in the 20s, so do dress up warmly on Monday night. Well worth going out for sure. That's Monday, but Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I was thinking that you take King's spirit in this concert, Courage to Stand, on Wednesday.
Oh, that is exactly the purpose of this concert. We want to carry on the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr.
All right, I wanted to play a little bit of the Umoja with Valerie Coleman. Valerie was one of the founding members of the Imani Winds. They're nominated for 3 Grammys again this year, but she's really branched out as a composer. How did Umoja wind up on the program, and what's it about?
So Umoja means unity in Swahili, and the piece comes at the very end of the concert. And the idea behind placing it at the end was we wanted to unite everyone in making a difference, making a stand for our convictions in our communities.
But you and Suzanne Perino and the staff, you cooked this up. This
Yes.
came from a get-together when you were planning.
Yes, we cooked this up together, and it's been a long time coming because it was postponed from March of last year. And so we are very excited to finally get to showcase this wonderful program.
Nikki Porter will sing Precious Lord. How did you settle on that? Because she's wide-ranging and does all kinds of things.
The song has a very close connection to Martin Luther King Jr., and that is why it is included in the program.
Maestro Mundo, thank you so much for coming by.